But I think the main things is at the end of the day, volleyball is volleyball. It's in the same 9x9 court, and the rules are the same. So we. Is that on the back of your shirt?
Yeah, it's on the back of the shirt.
You did. A little free shout out for you. And it doesn't matter who's on the other side of the net. You need to still execute to the best of your ability if you want a chance to win.
That's right, boys and girls. Welcome back to the 9x9 coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympic Volleyball Tournaments. My name is Rob St. Clair, live from Chicago. That is Everett Delorme, live from Toronto. It's been so long since we've seen you all. It's been a whopping 5 minutes since our last video.
If that.
If that. We're knocking out both Pool A's tonight. We just talked about the men's side. Now I'm very excited to talk about women's Pool A because it features my beloved United States. I am ready to go. We're back. We're getting into it, and here we go. France, the hosts, the United States, China, and Serbia. And the most important thing to talk about here, Everett, is just what we talked about when these pools were drawn. It was the great equalizer, where a 4-seeded caliber team, France, was seeded first because they're the hosts. A 1-seed caliber team is seeded fourth in Serbia because they tanked the last 2 VNLs, but they are really, really good. And because they got drawn where they were, this pool and this entire tournament is very, very balanced. And other than France, who we'll talk about, it's their first Olympics. They're certainly not. They're. I don't want to call them a pushover, but I think there are 3 teams that are at a different level in this pool. This pool is going to be sick. This pool is going to be sick, and the kind of the theme that you and I were talking about earlier is Olympic pedigree.
Pedigree. When you look at these 3 teams across the past 2 Olympics, all 3 of these teams have medaled. 2 medals for the USA, 2 medals for Serbia, and a gold medal in 2016 for China. So all 3 of these teams, when you're looking at the entirety of the Olympics, and I mean, let's be honest, when it comes to Olympic time, most plebs aren't going to know the difference, and they're going to look at it and be like, this is probably the toughest pool. And in a lot of ways it is. Like this is going to be a seriously tough pool from first to third. And luckily, because France, is on the up, we can say that. I mean, they qualified to the VNL on their own accord last year. They didn't do terribly. Did they win a game this year?
Yeah, they won 2 games.
They won 2 games. They won 2 matches. So this is a team here that is going to be getting their best player back as well, and in Cazot, who didn't play at all during the VNL. So this team is going to be decent. However, let's be honest that they would not be here if it was not for their host spots.
Correct. Yeah, different very much from the men's side. Obviously, the French men are tremendous. The French women are new. This is their first Olympics ever. This was their first VNL ever this summer, which was very well timed that, like you said, they did earn their way into it last year because they needed that to prepare and play against Olympic level competition and kind of figure out what that was like before attempting to play in Olympics at home. But as much as I like, and we both like what the French women's program has done, their national team is getting better. Their domestic league has been getting quite a bit better. Some of their best players are playing big-time minutes for good teams in Italy and across the world. Helena Cazot in particular was terrific for Malonza this whole year. They're going to go 0-3. It's sad. They're going to go 0-3. It's just the way that it is. They're not there yet. And like you said, they would not be in the Olympics if it weren't for them hosting. They're not going to be like an embarrassment or anything. But the Olympics is hard. It's the best teams in the world, and in a pool full of Olympic pedigree, France has none. So it just kind of is what it is. I don't think there's that much more to talk about this team. I'm excited for them to get this experience and hopefully continue to use it to build their program. But they're going to go 0-3. Just is
I was wrong in saying that Cazot didn't play the VNL. She did play 3 matches.
Barely played.
She played 3 matches, but in that time, like she played 3 matches and she's able to be their 6th top scorer. So when you add her into a team and you've integrated her in a little bit, and you've got Cazot on the left side, you got Jiquel on the other side, you even have Rotard, Sylve down the middle. This team is decent, but it's someone's going to need to really have, someone's going to need to have some really bad food poisoning or something. like a team's got to, COVID's got to be going through a team. Not that I would ever, I shouldn't even say that. Let's not say that. Yeah, let's not even bring that up. But someone's going to have to go through something like France is no, never mind. I take that back. I was going to say they're the weakest team in the entirety of the
Second
Olympic roster.
weakest.
They're the second weakest team. Right? There's no team on the men's side that is as weak as France, let's say.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I agree with that. Even I think the Egyptian men might be a little more equipped to do damage than the French women. And I mean, you can summarize it like this: like Elena Cazot is their best player. She's the third option as far as scoring on her club team.
Yeah,
a very good
100%.
Club team.
Very good club team,
and she was very valuable, but she was the third option as far as scoring goes. And I think France is going to struggle to generate points. I think they're going to struggle with opposing teams serving and blocking ability. It's just going to be tough, and they're playing at home, and I hope they have a good experience. But I think you and I are on the same page about their outlook. So I honestly think we can move past them. Right,
a set one is going to be a real good thing for France, and I think in this tournament. All right. Where are we going with this one, Rob?
You make the call. If we want to go in seed order, then my team is up next. We could also go in like contender order and jump down to Serbia if you wanted to. It's up to you.
I want to go Serbia first.
Okay.
I think I want to jump into Serbia first because Serbia is a team that if I have so many questions, but also like we also kind of know who this team is at the same time. Like this is pretty much the same team that we've seen for the past few years in big moments. And the reality is with this team, Rob, is that you have one all-time legend. And when you talk about think about back in 2016 when she was just 19 years old and she was able to lead this team to a silver medal finish. Right. And then losing to China and then once again putting the team on her back in 2021 in Tokyo to another bronze medal finish. Like this is a team that is led and lives and dies by Tijana Boskovic. But if there's one player who is maybe the most consistent of the superstar opposites, I think it would be Tijana Boskovic. Right. You always know that she's going to put up points. For me, it's all about how that supporting cast around her really support her and are able to play. And the thing is that we don't know. We have no idea with this team because they haven't played together all summer. So, there's so many questions marks. Do you go with the age and the experience in Maja Oljanovic, or do you go with Bojana Drča, who a lot of people think is actually the best setter for your program? Who are you going to line up on the left side? Right, you bought 5 outside hitters because there's no second opposite for you to use. Who is Guidetti going to be able to use in that outside position spot? So there's so many questions to be answered for the Serbian team, but there's no doubt that everyone knows that they have medal potential and gold medal potential up and down.
100%. Yeah, don't be fooled by the fact that they're a 4 seed. They've dropped way down the world ranking because they've played the B team the last 2 VNLs in a row. When this is the reigning world champions we're talking about here, with one of 4 players on the planet that if you have one of those 4, you are instantly a contender to win every major event that there is. That, of course, Bošković, Hawk, Vargas, and Egonu, 3 of which we will see this Olympic Games, which I'm very excited about. And yeah, you don't need a second opposite. You don't need to bring one. You're never going to take Tijana Bošković off the court under any circumstances.
And if you do, you're screwed anyway.
Screwed.
Right, like there's nothing else. I'm sorry, Serbia. Like I know you guys made a nice little run without her a few years ago in VNL, but this is the Olympics.
Nope, okay? This is the Olympic freaking Games, and Tijana Bošković will be the most important player. I mean, she led the 2021 Olympics in scoring on Serbia's way to taking bronze. I do think that they have developed a little more around her than they had in 2021, because I'm thinking back to when Serbia got completely and totally handled in that semifinal by the United States, who did a really good job of bottling up Tijana Bošković. And I just don't think Serbia had enough in addition to Bošković to put any pressure anywhere. So it was really just a one-dimensional team that the United States figured out that particular time. They've got a little more going on now. The outside hitter kind of group has developed. I think Uzelac has a lot of scoring potential. Lozo is well-rounded. Busha has had a couple good club seasons. Lazovic is a good ball controller. They've got good middles. So what I'm hearing from some of our Serbian people in the Discord, including our friend Dado Volleyball, who's in the live chat right now, one is that Serbia's still not entirely sure who their team even is. So what I have written down right now is the latest. Right now, they think that Anja Bjelica is going to be their 13th player as the backup opposite. But I heard today from the Discord that she might not be the alternate player. And they also aren't totally certain about who their starting libero is going to be. Apparently, they have the flexibility to make those decisions late. I didn't know that, but that's like what some of our Serbian people are telling us. So take that however you will. As of July 17th, this is the roster as it is. And then the other thing is that Serbia has brought their full Olympians, Bošković included, to Italy to play a couple friendlies. And in those friendlies, Tiana herself has looked unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, that's not that surprising
It's not.
at all, really. You know, in prepping for this, Rob, when just reading back of like, dude, she was going off the world champs as a 17-year-old, right? She helped lead this team to an Olympic final as a 19-year-old. She has consistently done it. And even when you look at the downfall of her teams, and that's mostly on the pro side of things, much less so on the international side of things, because when she's been there, like Serbia, when you look at the amount of medals they've had over the past few years, right? Two silver medals from the World Championships, and before that, it was 2 golds, right? The era of Tiana Bošković in Serbian women's volleyball has been
prolific,
are arguably one of the most prosperous of all time. Right, when you look at the consistency in which she's able to do it at the national team level, I don't know if there's one single player who's had an impact as extensive and as prolonged as Tiana Bošković. And she has the like straight up though, like Egonu, yeah, she's been fantastic for the last little bit, especially at the Champions League. But internationally, she hasn't done it as well or as long as Tiana Bošković.
True.
Right?
Yeah. In major tournaments, I mean, Tiana's won 2 Olympic medals, 2 world championship medals, and how many Euro volley medals? I mean, Serbia's been tremendous with her. There's no question about that. But where it gets a little bit interesting is just the fact that they haven't played together. They really haven't played together at all. They
haven't played together, but like this is a team that knows each other too.
So
like, they haven't
that's
played
the
together, but
thing.
haven't. You know,
that's the thing. This is their 3rd coach since the 2021 Olympics. Zoran Terzic was the coach when they won bronze in Tokyo. Then they had basically just 1 year of Daniele Santarelli where they won a world championship. And then he gets poached by the Turkish Federation and Giovanni Guidetti comes in. So while the lots of good stuff going on in Serbian women's volleyball surrounding one of the greatest players in the world, they've had 3 coaches in the last 4 years.
Yeah, but have they? No.
Yeah. Terzic was the coach when they won bronze in 2021.
Okay, I guess
3 coaches in 4 years,
and then Santarelli was just
1 year.
Yeah, but I think Guidetti is fantastic. You know,
he's good enough.
He's good enough, but that's the thing is that Serbia is a team that doesn't necessarily need. Like the coaching would help, Santarelli would help, but at the end of the day, if Bošković plays the way she needs to, everyone else is able to support her, then it's all about how that team feels amongst themselves. I'm sure the coach is able to impact that greatly, and I think that's what maybe Santarelli does best. But that team is going to be ready to ball out. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm not trying to doubt Serbia, but I'm saying that they're a little bit unpredictable because they haven't played together since last year's Olympic qualifiers, where they were good enough to qualify, but not great. They didn't get beat by China and Dominican.
This is Serbia that we're talking about, though. They did get beat by China. This is Serbia, like much on the same. It's on the men's team. They just have that ability to turn it on, right? They are that passionate type of fiery people that they can just turn it on. And you have one of the game's best players, and you have a solid cast around her, right? Especially down the middle with Stevanovic and Aleksic. I think that is one of the more solid pairings down the middle. You got setter. I think Durcha should be the starter. The real questions for me is, what are you going to do on the left side? You're probably going to go with Uzelac, but who are you going to go? Are you going to go Bianca Bushka? Right.
I'd say probably Uzelac and Lozo. That's who they won worlds with 2 years ago, if I had to guess. But here, that's kind of the thing. It's going to be hard to not start Maja Onjenovic because of who she is. CJ, I think she's 39, and she's bearing the flag for the Serbian Olympic team, which is an incredible honor.
Yeah, if she's bearing the flag, she's getting the start.
She is bearing the flag. The other thing is, like I just said, I still think that Guidetti doesn't know who his libero is. I still think, according to the Serbian people that we talk to, he's trying to decide his Olympic libero based on scrimmages this week. They have 3 good ones, but none of them has stepped up to take the job. Reception is a concern. When you don't know who your libero is, and you don't really know who necessarily your starting left sides are, the chemistry within your reception unit is a concern. And if there is one path towards beating Serbia, it's to do exactly what the United States did in Tokyo 3 years ago. It's take everybody except Bošković completely out of the game and bottle her up as best you can. If that can happen, if they can break apart Serbia's reception unit and create an entirely one-dimensional team, Serbia is very beatable. Bošković is amazing. But if it's literally just her, Serbia is completely beatable. And that, I think, is the one thing that can stop them from making a deep run, is the lack of chemistry in their reception unit, because they've chosen to strategize this summer in this quad the way that they have.
Yeah, but I think that the reality is that if you start focusing on other players and start trying to break other players in this Serbian team, it just opens up the door for her, and she doesn't need that big of a window, right? Like, her ability to score in so many different situations is why she is as good as she's good. Like, her awareness and her ability to score in different ways is fantastic. I think it's just going to really open up everything for them. And I'm not worried about having not played together. I'm really not. Like, we'll have to see what their first game looks like. But I think that the team is going to come out swinging. And the reality is that this is the perfect pool for them to come out swinging, because you're going to be under pressure and you're going to be under stress in every single match. Even in the match against France, there's going to be that pressure of playing against the home team, of playing like in that atmosphere, right? So I think it's going to be the perfect opportunity for them to get their butts in gear and to get ready to make a good
now. That's the very fortunate break that Serbia got, is that their first match is against France.
Yeah. So you've got that pressure of playing the home team, and you
don't have the pressure of playing not this French team. They're not good enough.
France is going to win the first set.
No, they're not.
France is going to win the first set.
Okay, I'm interested in that take, because I do not think that it will hold up. I think this is the perfect first match for Serbia to get some of those things aligned, especially their reception unit with whoever they name to be their libero.
That French team is gonna be flying in the first match. They are going to come out of that tunnel with so much go-go juice coming out of their butts that they are going to be good to dude, we watched Germany this year take a set and like kind of dominate Turkey for a set and a half in Arlington, right?
We did. So
you're telling me that France can't do that at home in the opener of the Olympics?
I'm saying that they won't. It won't happen.
What do you mean? You can't say I'm not saying they can't, but I'm saying they won't. That's the exact same thing.
I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm saying that
there's T's at the end of it, regardless. I'm saying this right now. France is going to win the first set of that game. Serbia is going to win 3-1.
Okay, we will revisit that take. And again, I'm not doubting Serbia. I'm just saying, like, if there is a path to beating them, that's it. Break apart a somewhat maybe unstable reception unit and try and bottle up a great player in Bošković the best you can. I think that's the path. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I mean, we'll talk about my predictions for this pool in a little bit. Let's talk about China.
The Quebec talking. Come on. Quebecois people hate French people.
Yeah,
it's
that
rivalry. Get out of here with that. China. Here's the thing, Rob. This is a team that over the course of the summer actually got better.
They did.
When you look from week 1 to week 3, made some improvements. And now you can talk about how that happened. But at the end of the day, it happened. This is a team that last year made a run all the way to the VNL finals.
Yes, they did.
This is a team that has arguably one of the best scoring powers in the world in Li Ying, and then a former MVP and Olympic champion coming off the bench in Zhu Ting. China's real damn good.
They're good. This is another team that's difficult for me to get a download on, because like when you think China, you think Olympic women's volleyball pedigree. You're like, oh my God, this is one of the greatest programs of all time. Because it is. It is not Jenny Longping coaching this team anymore. Zhu Ting, who was the MVP in 2016, is not that player anymore. She's not in her prime anymore. this is Li Yingying's team. And that's okay, because Li Yingying, in my opinion, is a top 3 outside hitter on planet Earth. I think it's her, Gabi, and Arina Fedorovtseva.
Okay.
I think she's that good.
But okay.
After a woman who physically cannot pass the ball. Yeah, I think this is Li Yingying's team. She is awesome. And I think they're really good down the middle with Yuan and Wang, who I assume will be the 2 starters. They're both really big and really good. I mean, Yuan Jinwei is easily a top 5 middle in the world. They had a really good week 3 of VNL. I think they beat both Poland and Turkey.
They did.
Then they sent the B team to the VNL finals and lost to Japan. Whatever. Nobody cares. Clearly, the federation didn't care about that tournament.
No. Neither did the players.
Neither did the players. Their last Olympics was not good. Their last Olympics they didn't make it out of pools. It made it real clear to me that it was no longer the great China that we knew, and they have been building back since then. But at an Olympic Games, man, I don't know. It's just a really difficult team for me to project. Like, is the fact that Zhu has been there before and has won an Olympic MVP, like, how is that going to be enough to teach a team that's, other than her, pretty much brand new, how to do this thing at this level, including the head coach?
I think that this China team succeeds by keeping their head down, right? And especially in this style of game that they play, is that they clearly have red light and green lights. And Li Yingying is the one player, I think, that actually has the full green light in different situations. They play a very, I'm going to say, conservative style of volleyball, but I don't mean that in a negative way by any means. Like, I think they play very reserved, but I think that they play within themselves. And they wait out teams a lot. And people, and I think that's kind of hard to do in volleyball times, where they play the game plan so well, but they can execute across the board. So I think that's why that, especially when it comes down to, and then there's also another thing that, and we're going to talk about this with the United States too, when it comes to the Olympics. China's be all end all is the Olympics.
True.
Part of their national identity is very much like, if there is 2 countries in the world that base themselves so much off their national identity of the Olympic Games, it's China and the USA. And I mean, there's a lot of other like political reasons to talk about that as well, but that's the reality of it. So this team is going to have the resources and is going to be prepared to play in Olympic Games among the best of them, right? So that's why I think that this team is primed to do well at an Olympic Games and to really thrive. And that even if this team, because dude, this like you said, this pool is going to be a bloodbath from 1 to 3, and even if they end up finishing 3rd, they're not out of medal contention whatsoever. I don't care who finishes first in either of the other pools, because so many crazy things could happen. China could beat anyone in the world. China can, on their best day, China can beat anyone in the world. Now, can they beat anyone in the world on their best day and someone else's best day? Maybe
No.
not. Maybe not. But if China, but the thing is, and the thing that predicates that the most, is that China's whole system is making sure that when they're having their best day, you're not having your best day, because their system predicates on like messing up your how you like to play the game so much that it makes it difficult, and it really leads them in. It's just in a sense of like torture. It's just going to be like slow and steady, and eventually they're going to be able to take over the game. And that's always how they've done it, and they have the personnel to be able to do it too.
Yeah, that's definitely their identity, and that's their intention. But like the pool that they have, man, like I'm just so fascinated by them playing the United States in an Olympic context and then playing Serbia in an Olympic context. We can talk about in a little bit, like the recent history between some of those teams. I think that China can and should make it out of this pool, even like you said, if they're one of the teams that takes 3rd. I mean, on the men's side in 2021, we saw a 4 seed out of a pool win Olympic gold. Like, absolutely anything is possible. This is an insanely deep field. China is good enough to do some damage. They just don't have, to me, like to me in women's volleyball right now, there are sort of two identities, and then there's one team that kind of blends. There's three teams out there with that one world beating player: Serbia, Italy, Turkey, with those three world class opposites. Then there are two teams that are really, really, really well balanced in Brazil and the United States, who I think are on the fringe of contention. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then the team that's in the middle of the two is Poland, who has a very good opposite and pretty good balance and a world-class setter. I don't love China's matchup against any of those six teams. China is good, but against any of those six teams that I think are better than them, I don't really
like,
see
once
the
again,
win condition.
they three-donged Poland in the last game of VNL. They beat Turkey in 5 in the game before that. They also, I mean, they beat USA in week 1, so that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
Even what was considered a poor Olympic qualifying tournament for China, where they lost the Dominican Republic and Canada.
Yeah, they failed to qualify. I mean, they failed
to qualify, but they still beat Serbia in that tournament.
Yes, they
so did. They like, this Chinese team knows how to beat everyone. Remember, they did go all the way to like. The VNL is such a wishy-washy tournament that I don't necessarily like to go back to it any more than this year, but they did go to the finals. They did go to the finals in 2023, which is I'm going to give them like 0.5 of a point for that, in my head type of shit. But I do think that this team is solid, and I think that Olympic experience speaks for so much. And this is a nation that is always set up to do well at the Olympics. And because they did so poorly last time, I think that this is going to be,
time to go. Time to go.
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, I'm very interested in China, and I think I have a lot of respect for China. I will spoil the fact that I think they're going to finish third in this pool. I do think they're going to advance, though. Their middles are really good. Their middles are really, really good. All right. Last but not least.
Yeah. The team, Rob, that is the defending champions, and in a lot of ways is still a medal favorite. However, there is a lot of questions about play style, about roster decisions and choices, and frankly, if this team is even good enough to compete for a medal. They haven't really won anything to note since they won this Olympic medal.
They've won nothing at all.
They've won nothing at all. They have been in the periphery, but, they've been standing on the wall, but never on the floor, right? Their dance card isn't that full, if you want to go down to the Bridgerton reference here. This is a team, Rob, that I'm a little bit worried about. And there's a lot of history on the board. There is 4 straight medals for this Team USA on the line here. That is one of the best runs all time for women's volleyball at the Olympic Games. They are the defending champs, right? With what is mostly a similar team playing for the all-time GOAT in the sport. So if there's a team that has a lot of pressure on them and maybe not the roster to be able to get it done, in my opinion, it might be this United States of America. However, I do hope I'm wrong, because I do like this team. But really, at the end of the day, I'm going to be interested to see what Karch does and what decisions he makes. Is there one person on this roster, Rob, other than Justine Wong Orantes, that you look at and you're like, that is a bona fide?
I hate it how you say that word.
I know. A bona fide like starter and all-star. Like, this team is going to ride and die by this player, and they're going to be there all throughout.
No. I think that I know who's going to be there at every position, but there definitely is a lot of uncertainty. Now, the VNL was not very good. I think the best volleyball we played was in Arlington, and even that was just an okay week. I think we went 2-2, lost to Poland, lost to Turkey, beat Canada, beat Germany, maybe? I forget the details. Lost in the quarterfinal VNL, whatever. VNL's VNL. kind of how I've been summarizing the U.S. women is that while we won an Olympic gold in Tokyo, it was an all-time achievement. We at best have stayed at the same level since then, whereas everyone else in the world has gotten substantially better. Brazil has gotten way better. Turkey has gotten infinitely better. Poland way better. So even Italy better. China probably better. Japan is better. Serbia is probably better than they were in 21. Like, the rest of the world has elevated so much. I'm not convinced the United States has. There's been a lot of weird stuff going on. I mean, Jordan Larson is the reigning MVP of the tournament. She's hasn't played a full season of volleyball since Tokyo. She's like retired and unretired 4 different times. Nobody knows what she's doing. The X factor here is Catherine Plummer. She is the one major difference between this roster. Well, there are a few: Carlini, Skinner, Plummer, and Dana Retke. Those are the I think the 4 player differences that were not in Tokyo. Plummer is the biggest X factor. We will go as far in this tournament as Catherine Plummer can take us. She needs to pass the ball well. She needs to be efficient. She needs to score at a decently high volume, mostly because I'm still a little bit confused by the opposite position. I mean, we just played the Netherlands in a couple scrimmages at home. We beat them in all 3 games. That was reassuring to me to like clearly say that we are a much better team than the Netherlands. That was a little bit reassuring. But both opposites played well. Both setters played well. All 3 middles played well. But Catherine Plummer was the player that, in my like little bit of following along with those games, like, she's the girl that's going to have to do it for this U.S. team in volume and scoring and reception and just like presence. I think her presence is the biggest difference, and that has been on and off this quad so far for us. The advantage that I think we have is having done this before. I've said it a couple times. That win, that USA women's volleyball gold medal win in Tokyo, was a mental victory as much as it was anything else. That the way that team worked and got on the same page psychologically, especially with all the external craziness in a COVID-ridden tournament, that I think gives us a huge advantage in putting on the roster 8 and 9, if you include Micah Hancock and all the other players that have been in the gym, and then Karch, all those players that did that already. I think the U.S. women are the best equipped mentally to handle an Olympic Games of anybody in the field. I think we are the best prepared mentally. Okay. Now, we are not the best prepared physically or in terms of talent or in terms of chemistry, so we're going to have to lean on that mental advantage. We're going to have to lean on that whatever level of preparedness we've been able to develop since VNL, and in these scrimmages and in the pre-Olympic process, and to figure it out with a very difficult schedule, because I do think we got the worst schedule in this pool, and we can talk about that in a minute. We're going to have to flex that mental advantage in the fact that we've been here before, and I think that we can do that. I think that really, really matters in an Olympic context, because it's different. It's just different than any other event.
Okay. I also, like, in the same thing that I talked about with China, like, if there's one country that the other side of the coin, if there's one country that preps themselves and is ready to play the Olympics, I do think it's the United States of America. You guys do something, you guys got 2 things, basically. You got the Army, and you guys got the Olympics. And
we're the best on the planet at all of sports, and every sport except stupid soccer. So
rugby.
I don't care about rugby. You guys can have hockey, but we're the best sporting country in the world, and yes, we do typically prepare very well for the Olympics. We win the medal every year. Whatever.
I do think that the USA, like you said, the mental preparedness is there, and I think that just hearing the way that Karch talks about this team and about the process, I almost wonder if the USA at a certain point is just tying up all the strings on the bag at the same time, right? And they're in that process of bundling it all together and kind of figuring it out. Maybe not too dissimilar as the Canadian men, where they just need to kind of settle into that identity and really be comfortable with that. And I really hope they can settle into that, because I like this team, and I want to see them succeed. However, I think that when it gets into gut check time, when you talked about the different identities of the different types of team, even when you look at the all-around teams, when you look at Brazil and what they bring onto the table and the superstar talent they have in different positions compared to the star power that the USA has in their own positions, that everyone is real damn good, but no one is that next level of superstar that every other team in the competition has. Even a team like Brazil, that is all
Gabi,
around, like
superstar.
Gabi is superstar. Gabi, everyone knows in the world that Gabi can take over a game in all facets. And if that she needs to go, I'm gonna put this team on my back, she will. Even when you look at a team like a dark horse like Japan, right? They still have a player like Serena Koga who can go that extra mile and dig.
We have players of that caliber.
No, you don't.
100.
You
Yes,
do not.
we
You
absolutely
do not.
do.
USA does not have the player of caliber of Serena Koga, and I will.
I
I
do not
will
agree
die.
with that at all.
Oh, I absolutely agree with 100%. Overall, you guys are a better team than Japan, no doubt about it. But Koga brings another X factor that none of your players have. The strength in the USA is how you play as a unit more so than anyone else, and so it is how strong is this team going to be able to play together. I fully expect them, and if they don't go Catherine Promler, Kelsey Robinson, Cook, I think it's a huge mistake.
It would be crazy. It would be crazy not to do that.
But I am worried that they are going to go with Jordan Larson. Just because she is going to be the captain and she is going to be is that player. You have to start Jordan Poulter. This is her
For
team
sure.
now. She is the one that led them to that championship and that gold medal back in 2021. And then down the middle, I think you're really solid. As you said, Rob, the big question mark for this team is the opposite position. And like Annie Drews, we haven't seen her at all. She had an up and down season in Japan from what we hear, and nothing in the VNL. How is she going to be? And to be quite honest, Jordan Thompson has been dropping down the hierarchy of opposites in the world quickly over the past
precipitously.
Over the past 2 seasons, it has like she might drop out of the top 10 soon.
Yeah, she was not good for Valkenbank this year. So I mean, I agree with you. I think you summarized it pretty well. This is more of a process-oriented team than anyone else in the world. They have, I think, been so process-oriented to a fault that the product or the results this quad so far have not been good. They haven't won anything since Tokyo. This is going to be a test of their mental preparedness ability and of the structure that Karch has put in place coming together all together at once at the right time. If it happens again, then he has written some kind of magical Bible of Olympic success that he might be the greatest coach of all time. If he pulls this off again, he might be the greatest coach of all time. But it's all about them. Can they put it together after a quad that hasn't been super good, and can they create something that's greater than the sum of his parts? That's it.
Yeah, but even when you go look back to 2021, like they won the VNL in 2021, they won the VNL in 2019. They won the VNL in 2018. Sure, at the 2018 World Champs, they didn't do that great. They got 5th. Who did they lose to?
I don't remember. That's ancient history. They won all the way back in 20 what?
Yeah, I think it was 14 that the USA won. Oh, they lost to China. That's how they did. That's how they got 5th. Oh, and the Netherlands too. But it doesn't matter. Like, this is a team that was winning a lot before they won an Olympic gold.
True.
This is
You're
a
right.
team that has not won at all since winning an Olympic gold.
You're right. Let's look at the schedule. We've talked about every team. I mentioned that the United States, in my opinion, has by far the worst schedule amongst this group. That's because we play China on day 1. We play Serbia just 2 days later, so only 1 day off. So we get the best 2 other teams in our pool in 3 days, and then we have 3 days off to play France. So I don't love that. I think we'll take care of France regardless of what happens earlier in the tournament. But our draw is difficult. I'd say Serbia's is probably the best in that they get to get France out of the way and get their feet underneath them early. China's is pretty good as well because they have 2 days off in between all 3 of their games. I really don't see France winning a match here. I would be shocked if they won a set. I disagree with you that they're going to win the first set of the tournament.
First set, baby. They're going to come out flying. They are going to come out ready to go. You know, whoever's coaching France, I don't even know who's their head coach again.
Do I even have that written
I'm
down?
a terrible.
Oh, Emile Rousseau, Belgian guy.
Cool. Yeah, I think he's going to have them flying.
Hope so.
They're going to be ready. They're going to be ready to go on day one, their first day of the Olympics.
Another thing I wanted to point out is recent major match history between these three contenders, and this does not include VNL, unless there happened to have been like a meaningful VNL finals game in there, which we didn't find earlier, Everett. But last time China and Serbia played, China beat them 3-1 at Olympic qualifiers. And then the last two really meaningful times the U.S. and Serbia have played, the U.S. beat us 3-1 in the semifinals of the World Championship 2 years ago, which Serbia went on to win. But the
Serbia
year before, they did. Did I not say that?
You said the U.S. beat us.
Oh no. Oh yeah. Serbia beat us at 3-1 in 22 in the World Championship semifinals. But year before that, we killed Serbia 3-0 in the Olympic semifinals. And the way that we did that, I think, is going to be something to rely back upon. We kind of wrote the book on how to defend against Tijana Bošković in that tournament. Put the position 6 defender all the way over in the position 1 corner, have the position 1 defender, sharp cross court, bring the block over to take position 6 away, have the libero basically at the baseline. Like I really liked our defensive scheme against Bošković, and if we can take the rest of the team sort of out of the mix, I feel like that is replicable, and I guess there's only one way to find out.
I don't know if the USA is going to make the semifinals.
Semis, fine. I think that's a fair question, but making it out of this pool, like, come on.
Oh, making it out of this pool. There's no doubt about it that they're going to make it out of the pool. Because of the fact that France is in this pool, this is going to be an easy pool to move on from, right? Because everyone is going to have at least one win. And I think France and China are going to have in 3 dongs. Serbia's going to lose a set. Right.
Okay. France or China and the USA are going to get 3 zeros. Yeah. Okay. Like, so
I'm sticking with this.
I respect the take.
We can go back to it if I get it, and if not, no one will remember. It'll be great.
I'll remember. I don't agree, but I respect the take. I love nothing better than a good, slightly spicy take on this program. This definitely has 3-way tie potential at the top. I think it's possible that the U.S., China, and Serbia could beat each other in a triangle. I'm going to go Serbia 1, USA 2, China 3.
Yeah, of course you're going to say that because you know exactly what I was going to say, that I think these teams are also going to beat each other in a triangle, and I think it's going to be is that what I said last time? I don't feel that way anymore.
You have USA 1, China 2, Serbia 3. That's more like something that I would pick.
Yeah,
I'm sticking with Serbia 1, USA 2, China 3.
I think it's going to be Serbia 1, USA 2, China 3.
Same as me. Okay. Let's stick with it. I'm excited for this pool. This pool is going to be a banger. Olympic pedigree is a fun theme to follow along with. And all 3 of these teams are definitely capable of making some noise. And France, hopefully, is just there for a good experience.
They'll make things entertaining.
I hope so.
Terrible. It won't be like Kenya.
No, they won't be like Kenya. Hopefully
Kenya has nice jerseys at least.
Kenya's going to be rough. They got donged by Puerto Rico in the quarterfinals of Challenge Cup with their Olympic team. It's going to be bad.
Show some respect to our Norseca sisters.
It's going to be bad. All right. Anyway, thank you for watching both of our videos tonight, men's and women's pool A in the books. We'll be back on Monday. Monday is our next round of pool previews. We'll do both men's and women's pool B this coming Monday, and then it's Olympic week, boys and girls. The countdown's on.
Do you have access to show them our content calendar for the week?
I do.
I do. Let's throw that up there just in case someone only watches this video.
Yeah, the initial date is wrong. Obviously, that initial date should be today, the 17th. But we're going to do both men's and women's pool B next week, Monday. Pool C on Tuesday. We'll release our pre-recorded videos for the men's and women's Olympics next Wednesday and Thursday. And then once the tournament starts, next Saturday, July 27th, post-game shows every day.
Every day. You're going to be able to watch the Olympics, and then you're going to be able to watch us.
including
Maybe-
just want to put it out there for the people. Just saying, next Sunday I turn 30
Oh, really?
during the Olympics. Yeah,
Dirty 30.
day 2 of the
30.
Olympics. We will be doing a post game show on my 30th birthday. That'll be
Love
fun.
that. Love that. So there will be shots had before.
Love
Yeah,
it.
you're going to be able to. You guys are going to be able to watch us every day of the Olympics. Basically, what time are we? Do we have a time?
So it'll basically just be as soon as the last game is over. Like the last games are scheduled for 3 p.m. Eastern every day. And depending on how quick they go, we could start them like right away or a little bit later. But I think they'll probably be in like the same ballpark as our videos from today, probably like 6 p.m. Eastern, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
And which is midnight CET. So hopefully our European viewers are able to like stick around and watch a little bit of us during the Olympics live anyway. Yeah, it'll kind of depend daily on when matches end, but you will want to be subscribed to this channel. And I mean, I don't want to be the annoying YouTuber, but you honestly should turn on notifications so you know when we go live. That's going to help a lot for this tournament.
Yeah, because we are going to be, once again, every single day, we're going to be going live. Once those games are going to be finished, we're going to be bringing you up-to-date coverage, all of our analysis. We're going to be talking a lot of shit. And it's gonna be great. I cannot wait for it. We were talking about it the other day that it has been like a little bit since we did a show, and we were both pretty busy doing other things. Rob was doing Wapaka. He also went to the Caribbean. I went to Vienna to go cover some beach volleyball world. And now like we're both excited to just get back and just to be able to settle in and do the show. Like we'll be going live basically every single day for the next little bit, and we're excited that you guys are going to be along for the ride.
Can't wait.
Let people know. Also, go if you're not a part of the Discord. I saw someone be like, "Yo, I should probably join the Discord." And someone who's like, I've seen their name a lot in the chat. Join the Discord. If you like this, the Discord is better.
Make it happen.
Maybe not, but it is so good. All right,
make it happen. Thanks, people. We'll see you on Monday for a lot more Olympic coverage. Follow along. We'll see you then.
Peace. Bye bye.